Chief Minister of Manipur, N. Biren Singh's warning, and the warning goes out quite loud and clear. I'm just not sure if this warning is going to, if anybody is even going to bat an eyelid. Because we're almost looking at 2 months of this violence. He says, stop violence or face action. He said the same thing when a minister's house was, vandalized. He said the same thing when a union minister's house was burned, was set on fire. He said the same thing when people were killed. There was open violence, gun battles that are taking place in the street. People have more than thousands of weapons with them. The hills are awash with weapons. We don't know what's essentially happening. It is a burning issue, but the Manipur Chief Minister is still out there warning people. A soldier has been injured in firing after arson near an army camp as well.
I'll just read out the warning. It's been put in by the Tribune. It's in the back page of the Tribune, and it says like this: stop it. Otherwise, they will face the consequences. I also appeal to the people, Meitei people who are with arms, not to attack anything and maintain peace so that we can restore normalcy in the state. This is what Biren Singh has in fact stated.
He's also
this
stated
comes after
the
soldier was injured in Imphal. He has in fact made the statement as rightly pointed out now, and this is not the first soldier. You have a BSF security personnel or BSF person also who was injured earlier, and that too he was hit with a precision guided, not a precision guided, sorry, he was hit by a sniper rifle. So there is a long-range gun. So there is a whole question raised about the kind of weapons that are in circulation as well.
No, but the Chief Minister here also says, we won't let school education and health sector suffer due to this prevailing situation. These two sectors are our priorities. Are these misplaced priorities right now?
See, for anything to function right now, Kabir, for anything to function in Manipur,
peace on the ground.
You need peace on the ground. You can't send children or you can't send people to the hospital right away when there are people shooting at each other. I mean, you need to have peace on the ground. And, there is one very interesting article that has come up in the Hindu.
But he's also called out, he's also, put this message out to the Meitei community as well. He says, mainly the Kuki militants, stop violence, otherwise they will face consequences. I appeal to the people, Meitei people who are with arms, not to attack anything and maintain peace so that we can restore normalcy.
In fact, I think we should take that warning quite seriously right now. And also, I was saying that there's a very interesting article when it comes to the president's rule. One of the biggest demands that have been made by a lot of people in Manipur is on the president's rule. So this is what, very interesting article. I'll just read some of the excerpts in that article. President's rule is the last option in Manipur government while government will wait and watch is what it's the headline in fact shows that. Now, the BJP is in a dilemma regarding the continuance of Biren Singh as Manipur's CM as violence continues. His removal could alienate the Meitei community more. That is what the party is fearing. President's rule could push back normalcy in state as AFSPA might return. So, when you say president's rule, you have another draconian measure called AFSPA coming into play, which is not something that the government wants to in fact showcase, because the government is trying to remove AFSPA from the whole of northeastern states.
So situation
and this is very a catch-22 situation, Kabir.
Yeah, a word that I don't like to use, a double whammy of sorts. The Manipur Chief Minister has also said that I have seen that people are suffering. State government will construct prefabricated houses to accommodate, those living in relief camps temporarily till a permanent arrangement is made to shift them to their original places. So, the Chief Minister, it seems like, is making some focused steps now. But this face the consequences, stop violence or face action. Do you think there's going to be, because we've seen so much in the last 45, 50 odd days, my brain just takes me to a place where there's more killing and more bloodshed.
Well, some of the factors are a senior government official said that they were not expecting the situation to become better anytime soon. We are taking all kinds of measures which include outreach as well as a combing operation. Is it a wait and watch for now? We are mindful that it may take months also. When the Kuki-Naga conflict happened in the 1990s, more than 700 people were killed. It took years to bring normalcy the official said. Now, these are people who have had experience being on the ground over this. And so they are not saying that, it is a magic wand and we will be able to get peace on the ground immediately. What you could see is cessation of hostilities, cessation of violence, but it's going to take a many years when it comes to the fact that if you have to actually get the communities to talk and to work together, it's going to be a huge trust deficit that they'll have to overcome.
I was reading this copy on the internet, and it says, why this is interesting is because there's again finally some sort of observation that has been made by the judicial bodies. It says ST status for the Meiteis. High Court notice to centre and the state on review petition filed by a Meitei body. The contentious March 27th order had directed the state government, I'm reading this off of a Hindu copy, the contentious March 27th order had directed the state government to recommend the inclusion of the Meitei community in the scheduled tribes' list. The Manipur High Court on the 19th of June admitted a review petition seeking to modify its contentious March 27 order, which had directed the state government to recommend the inclusion of the Meitei community in the scheduled tribes' list. The court issued notices on the petition to the union government and the state government on Monday, seeking their response by the next date of hearing. Now, Manipur has been seeing contentious ethnic violence between the dominant valley-based Meitei people and the ST hill-based Kuki-Zomi people since the 3rd of May, when violence began, shortly after a tribal protest against the contentious March 27th order.
Well, that is what has led to all this. And also, let's look at how the security apparatus is there in the state, okay? More than 40,000 army and central armed police force personnel have been deployed in the state. It's now 40,000, Kabir. 40,000 of them are there in the state. And there are 3 verticals at present operating in the state under the Inter-Agency Unified Command, the Combined Headquarters Strategy and Operations Group, and the Operational Intelligence Wing. An official said through regular meetings were held among the agencies, coordination was a problem. Now look at the difficulty that these people are facing on the ground. Those people who have been tasked in restoring normalcy, they're having a coordination issue right over here because there are 3 verticals and yet they're calling it a unified command.
Well, so 3 verticals, still calling it a unified command. There was the composition problem when the peace committee came into existence, and we've had members of the ruling alliance, we've had members of union ministers that have come out and openly said that the administration has failed to control the law and order situation. On the other hand, it is a big problem for the BJP also right now, because they can't not look at it politically ahead of 2024, and alienating the Meitei community is something that they wouldn't want to do, and President's rule, like you pointed out, could again become a trap for the ruling dispensation in the state. But at the bottom of all of it, still remains concerns for people who've lost their loved ones, people who've died in this particular battle, for separate administration, for their own, autonomy.
My question here would be, see, I was also looking for this particular page in Hindustan Times. It says politics and violence behind the raging ethnic strife in Manipur. If someone wants to take a look at it, I think they should take a look at this particular page to understand what exactly goes through. Because what you pointed out is what it is. What is sustaining this? If I could have, in fact, this just showcased over here right now. This is that article that is there. Those who are still trying to understand why Manipur is important for India, why the ethnic conflict in in Manipur needs to be looked in a prism which shows that there is a larger conspiracy to it. Because if you ask any of the retired army generals or any of those who have been in the security establishment, they say that there is an interest group outside this country who wants the Manipur flames burning. So this particular article, please go through it if anyone gets the time, on the Hindustan Times. Politics and violence behind the raging ethnic strife in Manipur is what it writes, and it's got a small this thing. I'll just take some of those. What is the history behind the violence? Okay, and I'm just reading some of the excerpts in it. There are 16 districts in Manipur, but the state is commonly perceived as divided into valley and hills. This is the basic division that is there when it comes to the population and geographic nature of this. And then 2008 suspension of Operation Sioux part. A lot of people ask, like, what is the Sioux, militants under the Sioux?
Suspension of operations.
So this is again basically mentioned there. Then Manipur's 2023 withdrawal from SOO, that some Manipur has decided to move out of the SOO in 2023.
Which happened this year.
Which happened this year. So that is again a big question. then what is the recent violence all about? As today, 34 sub-tribes of Naga and Kuki-Zomi tribes are on the government's ST list, but the Meiteis are not. However, the Meiteis have long been demanding that ST status. So, this is the basic nature of it, and anyone who wants to understand the Manipur conflict and to find out what it, I think that was one well-written article that explains everything. So, they can in fact take a look at it.
All right, let's quickly take a look at some other top page news as well, as our thoughts and prayers and our hearts go out to the people of Manipur, the innocent lives that we've already lost. And let's hope that good sense prevails on the ground, and the government and the people and all the dissenting sides can finally see each other eye to eye, really come down. I know it's easier said than done, but I mean...
No, it's so difficult. I mean, there are mixed families. Whether, you know, Kuki mother and father and their children, what identity do you give them? And there have been instances where mixed families have been particularly targeted.